This is the full body multi-trainer by Athletica. Although I mainly bought it for leg extensions and leg curls, it is advertised as a 6-in-1 machine. Is it a good solution for leg isolation training in a small home gym? What is it worth for other exercises? I'm going to tell you all about it. Stay put. Hey guys, Johan here with Home Gym Europe, and if you watched my leg extension and leg curl machines showdown, which is right here, you know that I've been on the market for this type of machine for a while, and probably also know which one I went for. The Athletica Full Body Multi-Trainer ticked almost all of the boxes for what I was looking for in this type of machine. First off, price. This piece is currently sold at 549 euros and I paid 59 euros for shipping, taking overall cost just above 600 euros. The footprint of this piece is pretty compact, at less than 1 square meter, which makes it compatible with the small space that I had available in my home gym. It is highly customizable, as you can adjust a lot of pieces depending on your build and the exercise you want to perform. It is supposed to be able to withstand loads of 350 kilos. We'll get back to that a little bit later. Specs on the website state it is made of 11 gauge steel. It is actually alloy steel, so around 3mm thick. That's the same thickness of the most premium power racks like my Rogue RM3. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later. This machine comes in one big box and was delivered on pallet and was in pretty good shape with no apparent damage to the box nor to the pieces inside. Assembly was pretty straightforward with pretty clear instructions, and it took me around an hour and a half with 2 people working on it. Now, let's get to the machine itself. Overall quality is actually pretty solid. Padding on the seat is very good. It is firm and it doesn't change shape even after solid use. Leg rollers are also pretty good quality, as the vinyl is smooth and doesn't pull hairs out. One thing to mention is that the leg pad doesn't rotate, which is a bit disappointing as I find it a little bit less comfortable. Overall, power to coating is fine, even though there were a few spots where it wasn't perfectly applied, but nothing outrageous. About function now. The machine has 2 sundials, one to set up the starting position of the arm, which is holding the weight, and the second one to position the leg pad. Although the big one has lasered numbers, the second one doesn't. I just used a white marker to mark the position I use it for my different exercises and just add it to my notes in my workout app. It also comes with a leg holder, which again has great padding and vinyl, and this one rotates, which is pretty cool. You can set up the height of the roller, but the system used is pretty clunky in my opinion. You need to push it down pretty hard to really secure the legs, but you're not in a position to apply much force, so it takes some getting used to find ways to set it up correctly. I would have liked another way to put it, but I ended up getting used to it. 2 small things that I find pretty clever though are this piece of metal where you can store the leg holder when not using it, and this pin that can use to block the rotating arm when loading, for example. They make using the machine easier, but the finish isn't outstanding, as the paint here chips when putting and removing the holder. Moving on to the back of the machine and the back pad. You can move the back pad forward and back using this screw right here and pulling it back to adjust the position. It's the exact same system at the leg holder, and you can also remove this pin right here and lay the pad down for certain exercises. You also have the position for the seat and also have some extra rollers on the back for exercises facing the back of the machine. So now you know all about this machine. Let's see how it performs on the different exercises it is advertised for. I'm going to start with my least favorite and ramping up to the ones I actually use in my training. Starting with the back extensions. Working on my erectors isn't really a focus of mine, and working them on the machine wouldn't be my way to go. I would probably do barbell exercises like deadlifts or just work them as a secondary target on rows, for example. However, this machine allows you to do them. Let me show you how. So you're gonna have to start by folding the back pad all the way back, removing this pin and then putting it back right here so that it doesn't in the way. Then once this is done, you would move this sundial up, move this one this way, and then load the machine with some weight. Right here. Remove this one pin right here, and then secure the legs and go back. So as you can tell, I probably didn't set it up correctly. But that's not something that I would use. That's definitely not something that I would use. Second, ab crunches. That's an exercise that I can see myself doing on this machine on some blocks. It's definitely not the best ab crunch machine I've tested, but it works quite well. Ab workout is not a focus of mine lately, so not really a staple in my training for now. Here's how you set it up. You start with pretty much the same position as the back extensions that we just saw. It's a little bit clunky to get into position. I will just leave the same way. You get here, trying to lock your legs into place, which is what I find the most difficult to do. Maybe shift it a little bit up, and I use this pad and just do crunches. So again, you would probably need a little bit more details in putting the position and probably put a little bit more weight too, but that's how you perform the exercise. Again, not a great favorite of mine, but I could see myself doing it a little bit better. Next, standing leg curls. I would say it does add some variety for ham training, but I try to avoid single limb exercises as much as I can to maximize efficiency in my training, especially when I have better alternatives. So that's not an exercise that I'll be doing anytime soon, but maybe we'll include it somewhere down the road on a block to change things up a little bit. Here's how you do them. So this is the previous position that we used for back extensions and ab crunches. You would have to rotate this sundial all the way down. Get yourself into position and just do leg curls. That's probably a little bit too heavy for me, and the position isn't great again, but you can feel some tension. Now, we get into the realm of exercises that I will definitely be including into my training. If you've watched my video detailing my process on how to choose the machine that I wanted, you know that lying leg curls are definitely not an exercise that I like. Well, this machine kind of made me change my opinion on these. I have very good sensation on these exercises as the stretch feeling at the bottom is really nice. And I find that the machine itself is really well made for this exercise. I can definitely set it up perfectly for it and again have great sensations on this exercise. Let me show you how I perform them. So, once that the back pelt is folded, I would definitely lower it all the way back. There you go. I would raise this pad up a little. And then probably leave it around here. And there you go. That's a pretty nice feeling. The weight might be a little too low for me. I would probably add a little bit of it, but still, the sensation is actually pretty good. However, lying leg curls aren't my favorite ham exercise on this machine. I bought this machine specifically for leg extensions and leg curls. Other exercises were kind of a nice bonus. And I'm very happy with how the machine performs on both exercises. Let me show you how I do leg curls first. So here is the setup that I actually use. I put the sundial into this position to get a good stretch at the top of the movement, and then I will set my feet up, put the leg holder down. Again, not that easy to really put it well, but I got the hang of it. Secure it a little bit more with tightening the knob here, and then just hold myself tight, or what I used to do is lie forward a little to emphasize the stretch at the beginning of the movement. And then, there you go. A little too light for me, but the feeling is actually really nice. Great exercise to do with this machine. And then I would remove one leg, detighten the knob here, remove it, put it right here, and I'm out. So pretty straightforward and actually pretty easy to set up. And finally, leg extensions. I was very eager to try those out on this machine, and although plate-loaded machines will never match the resistance curve of stack machines, they feel great on this one. Here is how I set it up. As you can see, or probably can't, I put some pieces of rubber mat right here so that I can get into position more easily. I set the back pad a little bit further so that I can lean back a little. And when I start, boom, the rubber mat pieces just fall down, and then I get a deeper stretch and a deeper resistance at the bottom of the movement. And there you go. And that's just very good movement. Really nice stretch, real nice feeling, and I'm very happy with it. And again, this one was probably the main exercise that I wanted to do with this machine, and I'm very happy with it. So how I go out is just, I remove my left leg and just push it here, since there's a little bit of weight that will lock your legs into place if you set it up the way I did. But again, pretty easy to set up, great feeling, and just easy to get in and get out. Okay, so now you've seen a full breakdown of all the exercises you can do on this machine and how I will incorporate them into my own training. Overall, there's plenty of stuff that I really like about this machine. First and foremost, I love how it performs on the two exercises I bought it for, leg extensions and leg curls. It's already a win right here. The details aren't exceptional, but for the price, I found that the value proposition is very good. It is pretty compact and pretty easy to move around, which means that I can store it in a corner of my home gym without it being an issue when performing other exercises or in my everyday training. It is stated at 50 kilos on the website, which sounds like a lot, but again, it's pretty easy to move around, and I expected to have a lot more trouble moving it. I wanted to put additional wheels on it to make it easier to move, but I ended up not doing it because I don't find it necessary. However, there are a few things that I think Athletica could improve to make it even better. I've touched on some of those already. For example, finding a way to make the leg pad rotate, improving the leg pad locking system, or adding numbers on the leg pad sundial. Those are definitely small details that don't make an absolute great impact on overall usability, but would definitely be nice to have. One thing that actually worries me a little is elsewhere, however. Let me show you. Here's my working weight on my leg extensions currently. I finished my last block with sets of around 16 at around 85 kilos. As you can see, the loading pin is almost full, and I don't know how long it will take for me to reach its max capacity. I'm by no means the strongest, and my form is pretty strict, so that's something to bear in mind if you decide you want to go in this route. I could always do single leg extensions or maybe try and attach it to my cable tower, but that's stuff that I would like not to have to do, as it kind of impairs the efficiency of the machine. Moreover, let me show you a few reps at this weight. I don't know how it shows on the camera, but the upright holding the loading pin bends pretty significantly. I've tightened all the bolts and it doesn't change it. I get that metal bends and it does get back to its initial position every time, but that's something that I'm a little bit worrying for me. It also makes me doubt the fact that it is actually 11 gauge steel, or it means that all 11 gauge steel isn't the same, as I don't see my Rogue uprights bend like that under the same loads. The machine is stated to withstand an enormous load capacity up to 350 kilos according to the website. Let's just say that I have my reservations about this statement. Something else that wouldn't directly impact the product itself, but still add some versatility, is using this pad right here where the leg holder goes for other accessories. They could use the system that's already in place with this tube and the locking pin for other pieces that would unlock other exercises. The easiest one that comes to mind is a preacher curl pad. Using similar foam and vinyl that I really dig on this machine, they could make a great pad to do preacher curls. That'd be a cheap add-on and a great way to start building an ecosystem from this machine and maximize use in a small footprint. There are probably other accessories you can think of. Let me know in the comments if you think of some others. And finally, another thing that I would change would be to add a loading pin at the back of the machine. Some other machines already have one. It's not necessary for the exercises that I've already shown, but it would unlock some others that you just can't do because without it, the machine will just tilt away. Any exercise that requires some kind of heavy weights and where you're not sitting on the machine just doesn't work because of that. I really think it would open up new possibilities and again, increase versatility of an already pretty versatile machine. So, overall, would I recommend this machine? Absolutely. I think it's a great piece. It totally matches what I was looking for and I'm really happy with it. I use it very often and I've come to find ways to go around some of the perks that I've already mentioned and really enjoy it. And at the price, I find it's a great value as it adds another layer of leg exercises in your home gym without taking an egregious footprint. Okay, it was a pretty long one. What do you think of this machine? Do you have any question that I didn't answer in the video? Let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to answer all of them. I'll see you in the next video. À plus!